segment or questions?
No, let's just go questions.
Let's go questions. Over to the left, Sam.
Kevin, I wonder if you can take me back a little bit. It's been 5 years since you guys first came in the league and made that historic win against them. Is there anything in your mind that, when you think about that game, that sticks with you from that day or that week?
Not really. I mean, it's about the farthest thing from my mind right now. It's 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So, it's just a great game, and but nothing right now. Yeah. No.
What about the impact that it had on just this place and this program?
Yeah, I don't know. I think that whole year had an impact. So, more so than one game's a big deal, but the season, for what people thought would happen, with the move to the SEC, I think the entire year was really a positive situation, not just for the football program, but for Texas A&M and exposure in a new league. So, there's pluses and minuses that came with that too, and we all know what those are. But I wouldn't have it any other way. You're here to win as many games as you can win, whenever you can do it. And we were fortunate enough that year to win 11. And in order to win that many games, you're going to have to win games like that.
Down front, Brent.
No Miles, no Deshaun, but 20 sacks in 5 games. What's been the key to y'all's success in terms of your pass rush?
Well, yeah, I'm not surprised by Jarrett Johnson. I said it all summer. He had the same amount of production as Deshaun Hall last year and played half the snaps. So he's playing more snaps now. It stands to reason that he's going to have those kind of numbers. I think Landis Durham, as I said a couple weeks ago, is the most improved player on this team. And I think the effort that those guys are giving, along with some push inside, we've been able to kind of correct some of those mistakes. We lost contain early with some of our rushes. I think that our guys are in a little bit more control right now with the pass rush, which will be important this week with Jalen. He is really dangerous when he, as a quarterback, but when he puts it down and runs, that's when good things happen for them and bad things happen for the other team. So, our pass rush has got to continue to be as athletic and as disruptive as it's been, but we've got to be aware that we're playing a quarterback this week that can escape that pass rush and go for yardage. And so we've got to be more disciplined in what we're doing.
Damon, second row.
Hey, Coach, how important is it for this offensive line to come off strong with this defensive line that you're facing?
Look, it's been important every week, our emphasis of what we're doing here is not going to change because of the opponent. And I think, we've approached things like that since week one. We've got goals every week internally that we're trying to reach. And I think this team responds to that about getting a little bit better every week. And, that's where it is. We basically have gotten to a point of an identity offensively of who we are. I think everybody sees what that is. And, we're going to have to continue to get better as people kind of hone in on that identity and have some other wrinkles and some things that come off of that. But, I think our running backs and our offensive line hasn't been perfect, but they have played very well at times. And so, we've got to continue to get better in those positions. And then, that's where we are as a team. I think our guys respond to that, and they have responded to it for the last few weeks, just getting better.
To the back left, Chip, and then Gabe.
Kevin, most teams are trying to get where Alabama is and has been over the last 7-8 years. When you look at them, what just stands out when you turn on the tape? What is it that has set them apart?
Time and winning over that time. As you know, that's what it is. Player development, recruiting, you name it. And so, I don't know when it was. Somebody asked me. It's also. I think Nick does a great job of player education and having guys that really understand what third and fourth year is about. And when you have a program like that, you see the number of freshmen that they're playing on special teams, which jumped out to me a couple years ago. And those guys are getting meaningful reps during the week and are playing as backups and are waiting their turn. And, in a program that's won consistently like that over those last few years, those freshmen aren't all starting. They're going to wait their turn and play. So they do a great job of player development. They do a great job with scheme and coaches. I think the other thing that he's done a great job of is not just player evaluation or retention or development, but coach development and retention. He's lost a lot of guys. A lot of guys are head coaches in this league, but he's been able to replace them with other talented coaches where they haven't missed a beat. So it's not just one thing. There's a lot of things for you to be the program that Alabama is. There are a lot of moving parts that they've done very, very well for a long time.
Go Gabe, Cease, and then Ben.
Following up about your offense, Kevin, is how vital is it to get Kellen his legs going too in the zone read game to open up some of that running attack against a very, very good run D?
Well, it seems like that table over there thinks that our offensive line better be ready to roll and our quarterback better be ready to run. So, well, we'll see Saturday. I'm not here to talk about our game plan, but you guys are. I guess that's pretty accurate, though. We better be able to block them, and people have had a really, really difficult time doing that over the last 5 weeks, trying to block them. So, we've got to have a plan that gives our guys a chance, and that's, and we've got to be able to execute. I think what they've shown and what they've done defensively is they've been tough up front. Front seven is always like that. They're talented in the back end. Minka Fitzpatrick, I think, should be not just on the Thorpe Award list or any of that. I think he should be on the Heisman list. I think he's one of the best players in the country. He's played all those positions back there in the secondary, and you can tell he's a frustrated offensive guy because when he gets his hands on the ball, he tries to score every time he has it. So they've got talent in the back end. They play a lot of different coverages, try to mix up some things for the quarterback. And with all that being said, they've got a front seven that when they blitz, they bring it, but they've been able to get pressure with their four guys. And when they're able to get pressure with four guys, just a four down lineman, it looks like a lot of different people back there in coverage to a quarterback. So, we've got to pick and choose our spots. But as I said, certainly we are who we are at this point, and we just got to, we've got to execute. But we also have to have a plan that's friendly enough for Kellen to operate in an environment which will probably have the most complex secondary looks he's seen so far.
To the left, Cease, and then to the right, Ben.
Kevin, you made a lot of changes this year. I was wondering your time here, have you made any specific changes because of Alabama when you looked at them and what they did? And then also with such a young team, have you changed, first time playing a ranked opponent, do you change anything going into a game for ranked team?
There's a lot of questions, Cease. First of all, what was the first one? What?
Because of Alabama.
You bet. Sure we did. No, I don't want to talk about that, but we sure did. No, I think what's, the younger the team, they're going to hear from everybody walking around, and you guys, that this is a different week when reality is it's not. And, no matter what happens Saturday, we're playing football the next week. So what's important here is that today, you know, we got back yesterday, put the other game, put South Carolina away, looked at ourselves schematically and try to eliminate mistakes. And then today it's about, you know, eliminating some of the mistakes that we've made the last couple of weeks and getting better. That's it. And you know, my message yesterday was plain and simple. You know, we get better. If we get better every week, you know, good things happen for us. And this team has continued to get better every week. If that's good enough, that's good enough. We'll see Saturday. But I think with the energy level that these guys are playing with, I think the energy level at Kyle Field in the third and fourth quarter, I think that makes a difference. And as many guys as we're playing, you know, they're excited to play. And you know, we got to give them a plan that gives them a chance. And you know, that's basically our message this week is, hey, let's go play.
Second row right, Ben.
Kevin, does Alabama present a different kind of physical or mental toll that your team faces that other teams may not present to y'all?
I don't know that that's the case. I don't know what you're trying to say.
Is there a certain level of physicality that they present that other teams possibly don't?
I don't know. I think it's a combination of this league. You know, we're in a pretty good stretch right now. So, you know, it's a we got a couple. You know, with South Carolina's a pretty physical game. There's a lot of things going on up front. You know, we've played a couple SEC games. We've got, you know, really this stretch in a row before we get to the bye week. So I think it's a combination of all those things.
To the left side, Sam.
A couple weeks in a row, you guys have finished games that you guys were down double digits. For a young team, how have you guys been able to get this group to be able to play with that kind of poise down the stretch?
You know, I said, you know, we've got some great leadership in the locker room. You know, from some older guys that have played, and by older I mean guys that just play. Eric McCoy is one of those guys. He's played 1 year, but he's played every snap just about last year and seen some things. And obviously Christian, you say what you want, but Travion's the same way, and Keith Ford and Armani, you know, guys that are there. And you look over on the other side, and Dalen's played a lot here. Kiki's played a lot here. Zay Coven's played a lot. Alaka's played a lot. And so guys have been through some stuff with these younger guys to be able to talk to them about, you know, what is actually going on. And I think between the on-field leadership and I think how our coaches have handled things on the sideline or at halftime with adjustments, communication's been great. But there's also another piece that the young guys bring with energy, and they're just out there playing. You know, and I think sometimes I'm not sure they even know the situation. You know, a guy like Clyde Chris just out there running, and you have to talk to those guys. And you know, we've got several guys. Derek Tucker goes in the game, you know, and you know, coming off that knee from camp, and then he's had surgery, came back, practiced, played a little bit, played special teams. He's playing like he just wants to play. So, you know, we've got a good mixture right now of that, and I think our older players, and some of them have been beaten out. You know, that can create some issues, but I think as a whole, this team, and I said it this summer, this team is so different in the fact that they're really close. The older guys help the young guys. The young guys are like sponges, and they want to be good. They want to be great. And then besides that, they like to play. And I've never faulted anything this year when it comes to effort. These guys have been given phenomenal effort. Hadn't always been right, but it's been really, really good effort across the board. And, yeah, we're playing 55, 60 guys a game. And because of that, I think the sideline energy is high. They're really into it because they got to know what's going on when they go into the game. The communication level's high because when you're playing that many people, you don't have a bunch of guys just standing around over there waving towels. Not going to get in the game. They all want to know what's going on. They're all into it, and because of that, I think the energy level of the complete sideline, not just on the field, is higher. I know it is.
Down front, Suzanne. To the left, Alex.
Kevin, this is a philosophical question about motivation. Is it easier to motivate a team by telling them you're a big underdog, it's us against the world, nobody's giving you a chance, or is it easier to motivate a team that's always a big favorite and you have to tell them how good they are and this is why they're going to win?
I think it's the makeup of your team. Every team's different. And I've been on both sides, so trust me, if you're a big favorite every week, you'd rather be that as a coach. And I'm just throwing that out there. It's a lot less stressful. I'll put it that way. So I've been on both sides of it. In Oklahoma, we're supposed to win every game by 35 points. And at one part at Houston, we were like that. And then being in situations where you're given no chance. That can wear on you too, because there's some people who read that in the room and believe it. And they're kids, they're young adults, 18 to 23. They're going to believe either scenario. I think what's important is what the message is in the building. And we try to keep that consistent, particularly with a young group, so that there's tangible things that we can look at to see if we're getting better, if you're getting better at your position, mental errors, misalignments, missed tackles, drop balls, things like that, all right, here's where you are. This is really what's going on, not the line or who's supposed to do this, or we're worried about you getting better. And here's how we're going to judge that. And here's what you're going to be held to as a standard, no matter who the opponent is. I think that's important.
To the left, Alex. We'll go to the back, Daryl. And down front, Zach.
Coach, out wide, what makes Calvin Ridley such a tough receiver to cover?
Well, they got 3 or 4 of them out there now. He is an explosive player. He is fast. All these guys they got out there, 6'1", I think he's the shortest guy out there at 6'1". But so he's bigger than you think he is. He's very quick. He's become a really good route runner now too, which is a little bit scary. And he's explosive getting down the field, can make the big play, but he can also be a run after catch guy. And so you add all that up, and he's in the screen game. He's in the downfield cross country game where he's running double move routes. So he's not just a one-dimensional player. The way they've done things with Jalen off of some max protection stuff and some half bootleg situations where he gets a little depth and it gives him time to work down the field. That's when he becomes a real problem. And so we've got to have great eyes in the back end off their play action, but we also have to be able to challenge enough in coverage where they're just not flipping screens out to him and they're getting 5-6 yards a pop. So yeah, that's where he creates an issue. He can get down the field a little bit kind of like Christian Kirk in that regard, that in ball in his hands he's a problem, and then down the field he's even a bigger problem because he's fast.
Go to the very back, Daryl. We'll change it up. Olin, and then Zach will wrap us up.
Coach, Jalen Hurts last year was just a freshman, but he was very effective. Have you seen him improve his game this year off of what he did last year?
Yeah, Jalen has continued to improve. I mean, he improved last year throughout the year. I think, he's an impact player from the day he got there. His personality is one that lends itself to that. He's never too high, he's never too low. And he has gotten better. He continues to get better. And with some of the things they're doing, and really advanced in a little bit more in their RPO packages. But they're also taking the ball down the field quite a bit more and taking some more shots. So, he continues to get better as a quarterback, and that doesn't surprise me at all.
Second row, Olin, and then Zach will wrap us up.
Kevin, what do you think are the reasons why Alabama's offensive line is so good, and then how do you feel like your defensive front matches up with them?
No, it's the same thing I just talked about. It's talent and it's development, and guys that are there. The young guys that do play are 5-star guys. They're physically ready to be there. And the development of those guys, and some of them not playing early, getting some experience, and just rotating through there. And so, yeah, it's a challenge. It's always a challenge. Anything in this league's a challenge for our defensive front. That's what this is a line of scrimmage league, and they were challenged last week and rose to that. I mean, it's going to be every week. This league starts up front, and our guys get that. I think the additional play of Alaka has really helped, but certainly the rotation up front has helped us too, with the number of guys that we're playing out of that front four. So it's another week in the SEC. And you're a D lineman or O lineman in this league. You know what time it is. You got to bring your hard hat and your lunch pail, and get about 3.5 hours of the same thing every week for the next 8 weeks. So that's how it works.
Go to the left to finish up, Zach.
Coach, you spoke briefly about the physicality of Alabama. It seems like, well, they set the standard in most things in college football, but physicality being one. How much did that factor in to bringing Mark Hockey on your staff, who spent 6 seasons at Alabama?
Mark has a couple different things that we were looking for. I mean, obviously being in Alabama, with Scott Cochran, that was one piece. He's been his own guy at an SC school in Georgia, at the University of Georgia. And then, leaving there and being at Florida State, which obviously is an elite program too. So, he had a combination of things that he brought to the table with his background of people he trained with, who really helped him develop who he is. Being, a guy that has been at the top tier programs in Alabama, Georgia, and Florida State, but then also the other piece that comes with that is that, being able to train, deal with, communicate, recruit elite level players. And, the experience of doing that at those 3 schools was big to me too. So he brought a lot of different things to the table that were pluses. Not just his time there at Alabama, but I think his overall experience and where he had been and who he had dealt with, either as a mentor or who he had dealt with as a coach and training people.
All right, Coach. Thank you.
Okay.